And that's why I'm not allowed around power tools. What's going on, everybody? This is the Cover Band Confidential Podcast, the podcast for cover band musicians and band leaders to learn how to rock more inside glass. In Atlanta, Georgia, I'm Adam Johnson.
In Greensboro, North Carolina, I am Dan Ray.
I shared this on the Patreon Slack. I have just really had a home improvement DIY nightmare at my house.
There's been a door that's been fighting you.
It's been one door. But
one door.
But that's not true. It's actually now I'm on my third door.
Sorry, one door jam.
Yes. The idea was my wife has been complaining about the style of doors that we had, and this one had like a deadbolt in it for no reason, and it's just like it was a leftover from when we bought the house.
It's a garage door, right?
It is, and it's the entryway from the basement, which goes to the garage. So It was an interior door that had a deadbolt on it, which is totally pointless because you can literally like kick a hole through it or blow on it too hard. So it was kind of pointless anyway. And bought a replacement door that didn't have that, and she's like, I don't really like the look of that, so I scrapped that and we buy one that she likes. And then that whole measure twice part, I didn't do that, and so I just threw that door away. And so I got a door, and it's on and it's up, but it was untapped. For anybody who doesn't know what that means, it means there's no hinge cutouts or the spot where the doorknob goes. All that has to be done after the fact. And so got all the bits and templates and whatever to do it, and I have just like destroyed every knuckle on both of my hands trying to make it happen.
Sorry.
Is it finished? It is not. I got closer this evening, and then the bit that I literally I need one more bit to finish the job, and it has gone missing because my my youngest was in the garage with his neighbor kid buddy, and they were messing around with the tools, and now I have no idea where it went. So after knocking my third knuckle bloody in 24 hours, I was like, you know what? This can wait.
It's good enough. Good enough for now.
Yeah, we're just gonna leave it be for now.
Yeah. I live in a house that was built in 1890, and some of you who have been listening to us regularly know that there was a whole saga about the plumbing in this house. The only square, level, and plumb area of this house is the bathroom that got rebuilt during that time. Apart from that, it is all random corners and edges, and there's not a 90-degree edge in the world. There's really no hope. I could bring home a door from Home Depot and just plunk it in a door jam. Not a chance. So I feel you.
What else is going on with you?
Well, I got my first acoustic gig back since January. I did a show right before the surgery. That was my goodbye show. And I was, it was Bob Marley song. My feet is my only carriage, but I got to push on through. Everything's going to be all right. And I barely made it through that. I was openly weeping by the end of that piece of that song, looking forward to the surgery I was going to have on my foot. So I'm back, same location this Saturday, and I'm out of shape. Let's just put it like that.
Fair.
I haven't been playing guitar much. I haven't been singing much. I did do the Porch Fest, which was a 45-minute set, maybe 3 weeks ago, and that was fine. My overall stamina is up since then.
Sure.
So physically, I feel like I'll make it, but the mechanics of performance, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah. And I mean, not for nothing, but the past 2 weeks, I didn't bring it up because I had totally forgotten about it. I actually had a gig this past weekend. It was the gym gig.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just one of those things where I go in there and I play for an hour and a half or 2 hours, and nobody's in there and nobody cares. And it's just like, okay.
They're not spending money on you. They're giving you a free membership.
Sure. But I mean, it's not a cheap membership. And I will say this,
at retail, it's not. For them, the cost is nothing.
Yeah, that's fair. But they're also not getting much. I'm very, I'm huge with the staff. The staff love me.
Cool.
There were some Gen Z kids behind the counter of the cafe that I was playing in. They're like, can you play some John Mayer? And I was like, you know what? Yep, let's go.
Yeah, I can.
And so I just started playing stuff that they wanted to hear because they were the ones that were paying. There was literally a guy on a laptop on his phone, spitting distance from where I was standing, having a full volume conversation for literally 45 minutes during my set.
Oh my God.
It was a little demoralizing, but I played
It's a
what I wanted to
wallpaper.
play, and
Yeah, it's a
I
wallpaper
sang
gig.
what I felt like singing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there was literally a part where I was like, I've never played this song before, and I'm not sure I could sing it. And so I literally just like backed off of the mic and just like basically sung to myself, like microphone adjacent. Nobody noticed. Nobody
Nope.
cared.
Nope.
I feel like at some point the bottom's going to drop out and they'll be like, yeah, no, this doesn't make sense even for us. And I'm just kind of riding it out until then.
I don't know, man. The economics of a gym like that, like their cost basis is like the annual maintenance they do on the machines, which is nothing. And so your incremental cost to them for being a free membership, tiny,
Yeah.
tiny, 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 tiny. You can't look at it as the retail price of the membership. That's not how the math works for this one.
Yeah, I mean, not for them. For me, it is because it's either that
For
or
you,
I
it
don't-
is.
Yeah, I don't go.
But from their perspective, do I keep this guy on playing to nobody or not? Like, it costs me nothing. Let it rip. Like, why not?
Yeah, and they can just say they're doing it, I suppose.
Yeah.
The thing is though, is that that place is never not crowded. I was like, hey, I'm gonna get up. I set my alarm for 5:45. It's like it's in the summer, and I'm gonna go. And I'm gonna hit. And I like the weight room is wall to wall.
Yeah.
There's like I ended up doing kettlebells because it was the only station that wasn't like
Right.
totally slammed. And it was just because like a class over there like stopped about halfway through my my session. I was just like, man. So you got to get in with classes or like I don't know, like show up at 4 a.m.
Or show up when there's a guitarist.
Yeah, maybe. But even still, I mean, it was busy. There just nobody was in the cafe.
Oh.
There
Well, they should move you out into the gym.
Yeah, I mean, there was talk about putting us out at the pool, and I did that once, but like the weather was kind of iffy, and they just never got back to it. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Just it is. In the pre-show, I talked about this like life-changing, incredible bucket list opportunity that I'm not ready to talk about on the show just yet.
Yeah.
And then in contrast, I'm playing
to nobody.
Yeah. So but I mean that has been music my entire career.
100%. No, that's the deal. You got to be comfortable playing for yourself.
Yeah. It's playing in front of 10,000 people, opening for Panic at the Disco on Friday night, and working at the App Store on Saturday morning.
That's right.
That's just what it.
Yeah. That's the life.
Yep.
I've been learning when I'm going to the Y, my local Y.
Yeah.
It started with 2 days a week at PT and then supplementing that. And now I'm 3 or 4 days a week at the Y, which is, nice. I don't know who the hell I am. I've never done that before.
Gym rat.
It's crazy. And when you see me again, you're gonna be like, dang, you look different from the last time I saw you.
I'm sure.
It's notable. I actually I shared a picture of this. I cleaned out my closet yesterday and sent nine garbage bags, like full like kitchen garbage bags full of clothes to the Goodwill because there was 20 years of clothes built for a body that doesn't look like the one I wear now, and it's pretty amazing. And so if there was a guy playing guitar in the corner as I worked out, that'd be fun.
Sure.
I'd be into that.
Yeah, are you like a podcast guy, or like do you have like a workout like playlist that you hit, or are you just like raw dog in the gym with like the house music?
I go with my wife, and so we are cheering each other on as we struggle and suffer. Our thing is that like later in the day when I hurt, like I get to blame her. Like,
Fair.
damn it, why did you make me do that ab machine that I'm now struggling to get out of chairs because of? But on our cardio days, when we are on separate places, I podcast it.
That's fair.
It's been mostly Radiolab and This American Life, my classics, my go-tos, my old standbys. I used to be a podcast guy when I commuted to a job every day. It was like big podcast back and forth. And I did the vanity listen of this podcast.
Yep.
And I don't do that anymore because I work from home. I don't commute anymore.
So this new position has me going into the office, more than I was before.
Yeah.
And so I'm getting back into it. And there's a lot of stuff that I kind of like fell off listening to, or like intentionally like stopped listening to after a certain point. Cause it's just like, I can only take so much. And it was like, hey, I think this is like negatively impacting my my mental health. So maybe I should stop listening to it. So I'm kind of slowly working my way back in. I'm really loving Good Hang with Amy Poehler. Her interviews are really fun.
Yeah.
The Lonely Island Seth Meyers podcast is also fantastic because I mean, they basically just unpack the digital shorts as they were making them. So talking about the creative process, and it's fascinating stuff, but it's also like you look at these things and like, these are so stupid, and like the premise is stupid and the execution is stupid, but those guys take being stupid so seriously. It is fascinating.
That's great.
One of my favorite ones they ever did was this one called Ross Trent, which is just about like a white kid who, becomes a Rastafarian in college. And that was one of the more fascinating episodes because they're talking about all of this like dance hall reggae stuff that they absolutely love. And so they're like, we ripped this line from this song and this artist, we ripped that line from this artist, and that's like it wasn't just a joke for them. It was a way for them to show people that like, we actually understand this music and love it, and we're making fun of it in a way that shows it reverence,
like honors it. Yeah,
right. But and it never even occurred to me that was what was going on. So it was just really interesting to hear that perspective. It's like, no, these guys really like take these dumb premises very seriously, and
that's cool.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where we're at there. We've got some movement in other things. I'm ready to talk about it. This slam dunk home run gig.
Oh yeah.
So we've been back and forth about this, and I got I sent a contract out, and they're like, it'll be signed this time next week. So I feel comfortable talking about it. So
yeah, and you felt like there was some competition for it.
Yeah, well, that was the way it was presented. I feel like maybe there wasn't. I think there could have been them hedging their bets. I honestly don't know. So I can't say for sure.
Negotiating posture or something.
Sure, it also just could have been that we just pitched it the best. Shout out to Joey, our guitar player. He was the one who ran point on it because I was out and about and wasn't able to do it. But he was able to call the contact and kind of yes and what they were wanting to do, and so maybe that was what they were looking for. I can't say for sure. Anyway, we were approached by a city south of Atlanta to do an event at the first weekend of November, and this is apparently an event they've done for the past 4 or 5 years, and it is a Stranger Things block party. And so it is a Stranger Things themed event. Some of the show was shot there, and they've got people from the show that come in. I feel like last year they had the Surfer Boy Pizza van was there, and the guy who played guitar for Eddie Munson in the last season has done it for the past 2 years. And the yes and that Joey proposed, like, well, you think he'd want to play it with us? And so we would be backing him up instead of him playing it to, a backing track or whatever.
Love that.
So yeah, we get to, there was the lore goes that back in the day, we almost got the opportunity to play season 1's rap party, or maybe season 2. We were playing some event downtown during St. Patrick's Day, and we saw Brittany Snow and a couple of the girls from Pitch Perfect because they were shooting the sequel during that time. And so that means there were film people there, and whatever, we got approached to it, and they kept moving the date, and it just ended up falling apart because we couldn't make it work because they couldn't. Obviously, production was being moved around a lot, so it didn't work out. So maybe this is the full circle moment that we get in this one. Yeah, we're in the process of working up a big intro to do it big. One of the cool things about that show is that you get to do some pretty iconic songs, and Amber was stoked on doing "Running Up That Hill," obviously, because we've never done that.
Yeah, but
the other one, because the promo from last year, other than Master of Puppets, there was this really amazing epic arrangement of "Separate Ways" (parentheses Worlds Apart) by Journey, and so we are brainstorming that one, and Joey sent me a rough cut of his idea, because if you take the Stranger Things theme and you tune Separate Ways down to the key that we normally played in, they're in the same key. So you can
Nice.
kind of like flow from one into the other
Beautiful.
really, really smoothly. And it sounds pretty rad. And we're still kind of working it out, but I think it's going to be cool. In conjunction with that, I am totally out of members only guitar picks. And so I was like, screw it. We'll just do a Stranger Things run.
Yeah.
So got the design put together, sent that off to Picks of Destiny, and they should be back to us soon. And of course, when I did that, I was like, hey, last time I did this, a bunch of people freaked out, want to know where to get them. Can you throw us a discount code? So if you're in the market for custom picks, go to picksofdestiny.com, use discount code, discount for CBC. I think it's 10% off. We've done this previously, and the end product that people have gotten has been awesome, and I've been very happy with ours as well. So totally. I didn't even get the discount. I got it for you guys. But even still, 100 custom guitar picks was like less than $65 with shipping.
Totally.
Like that's slightly more expensive than the Delrins that I normally buy. So why not have rad ones with your band's logo on them and a QR code for your website?
And look, I pass them out like my business card.
Totally.
I give them to people. I'm like, here's where to reach me. And it's more fun than a business card. They, some random non-musician ends up with a guitar pick, and it's a souvenir.
So that's where we're at. And honestly, this conversation kind of sparked this week's topic.
It's a perfect gig for you. It's a perfect gig.
Right. So the idea was, and I had mentioned this in previous episodes, like this is like ideal for us because not only is it like the right theming for us, but it's also the right audience of people to play for. And when I shared this in the Patreon group, Adam Moskowitz hopped right in and was like, all right, here's a cool topic to think about. What is the perfect gig for your band?
Yeah.
Which is a really interesting question because there's a lot of ways to answer that question, because perfect can mean a lot of different things. And when we got responses from other folks in the group, in the community, it kind of bore itself out because a lot of people provided examples and they weren't the same. They were all kind of different.
Right.
So the idea behind what a perfect gig, and I love the way that Adam asked it, because what's the perfect gig for your band?
Crucial.
Because it is going to be different for everybody.
Yeah.
For example, like this one, we have lucked into a couple of types of shows where it's the perfect fit for us. So like another example of that for us would be that Southern Fried Gaming Expo's 80s prom. And this year specifically, I think when we first started, we didn't have like a green room, and there was a little bit of issues with quick turnaround times, and both of those things have been resolved at this point, where logistically it's not as like nerve-wracking as it has been previously. And this year our green room was the presidential suite at the the hotel they were throwing the event at, so it was cushy and the energy was good, and again, it was the right audience of people. They're there, they're dressed in the 80s stuff, they want to hear 80s music. Here we are, because we've done it so many times, it's like this family kind of dynamic to it also. So it's just like good vibes, good show, light load, really, really fun. So that's a good example of that, and then the Stranger Things block party, like, yes, we've got the branding, we've done Stranger Things themed stuff before as far as like merch and that kind of thing. So we've tried to do tie-ins, and of course I'm absolutely obsessed with the show. So that also helps. And to get an opportunity to do that where like we're getting promoted by, a municipal, government, and it's great, recognition, it's great visibility, and you've got a built-in audience that's there to see the kind of music that you're looking for. So total slam dunk. What about you, Dan? Like if you were pie in the sky, genie pops out of a lamp, perfect gig, what would it entail?
Well, when I think about that, what I flash to is my town's 4th of July event. There's a fun 4th that is like all of downtown. All the roads are closed off. It's a huge party all up and down, and there are band trailers, Bombshell. What do you call it? Portable.
Yeah, portable stages.
I mean? Yeah, and a lot of bands playing all up and down the street, and every one of them is mobbed and swarmed and huge. I think that's I don't know if that's a perfect gig, but it's certainly the next evolution of a bar band moving up the food chain. I do picture that kind of as perfect gig. The ones that I played that have been perfect gigs have had the right audience responding in the right way. I don't even need it to be a big audience. A few people really locking in and enjoying it in a way that is that gives us kind of that connection and that feedback and that energy. That makes it perfect. I think what makes the 4th of July thing that I've seen happen more attractive is it's like that times 1,000.
Yeah.
So I'm very interested in that. At this moment, of course, any gig of my band at all would be a big uptick from what I'm dealing with.
Yeah.
But that's sort of the picture is like, we've done some civic events that were fine and good, fine, but kind of not swarmed the way I see the Greensboro, North Carolina Fun Fourth be. And it's been a few years since I've been out to it, so
Yeah.
it may or may not be like that. But that kind of thing, I think, is sort of where I would put my band's ideal, the gig that expresses our growth in an ideal way.
Gotcha. So on a related note, Mike Schulte chimed in because of course he does.
Yep.
The one thing you can
his ideal gig is very different from ours.
Yes, but it kind of speaks to, you know, whatever it is based on like whatever the season of life your band is in, or kind of where you are in your career. So Mike said, perfect gig is the one we just played. Big corporate party, big money, full production, 12 to 1:30 p.m. So they got to go to this thing. They played for 90 minutes. They got paid probably more money than some bands make in a year in an hour and a half. And they were home before rush hour.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Now, the thing about that, though, is that the gig itself probably wasn't super fun. It was probably pretty. It could be very similar to like my cafe gig, because we have played tons of these corporate events where like you're playing to literally nobody or very few people because you're a part of a larger happening, and so maybe there's 20 other things going on and you're just in a room while other stuff is happening. Yeah. Or you're across, you know, the band is across the event space from the bar, which is literally on the opposite end. And so everybody's over there and nobody's up front watching you. So kind of to your point, you were saying, well, like, you know, a perfect gig for you it involves the audience being receptive.
Yes.
Where in some circumstances, like I keep thinking about the that scene in Mad Men. I see it all the time, where Peggy is like mad at Dawn for taking credit for something that she did, and he's like, "You're a junior associate. You'll get your time." And she's like, "You've never said thank you." And he goes, "That's what the money's for."
Money's for. Yeah, it's a good moment.
That's what it feels like. A lot of the time, playing those events can feel thankless, but the amount of money you walk away with feels ridiculous.
Right.
We did one of those things where they paid us $8,000 to play 45 minutes at 7 a.m. and it made no sense. Nobody was there. Yeah. Nobody wanted to be there.
No.
And I don't know. It was the weirdest thing. And
the check cleared and you're good to go.
Yeah. I mean, that's all there is to it. They haven't called back since, and that makes sense because they were like, we're going to give this a shot. And they're like, oh, this was not the right move. We should not do this. Maybe have somebody play at the end of the event, not at the beginning. Right. I think they were like, we're just going to do this. It's going to be a big energy deal and everybody's going to love it. It's like, well, no, the opening party was the night before and everybody was tired and or hungover.
Yeah.
They barely made it to the first session. So they were like stilt walkers and like dancers and acrobats and all that stuff. And they were equally as confused as we were. So
performing for each other. I like performing for other performers. That's
more or less.
That's fun.
Yeah. Some other examples, and this one I can definitely relate to, and I've got an example that kind of ties in with this. Josh from Rising Phoenix, he's got one coming up. He like as we're like talking about this, they announced this date, which is pretty awesome. So Rising Phoenix is like an 80s hair metal tribute kind of deal.
Yep.
And they're going to open up for Mike Tramp's White Lion.
Awesome.
In a couple of months. So it's a 90-minute set. They're getting paid well. It's a support slot, and they're warming up a crowd for a national act. That's a slam dunk.
Yep.
Because you got people that are there and they like the music that you're going to play, and it's going to go smoothly.
Yep. And good money and good time, and maybe you get to hang out for the main show.
Maybe the band's cool. As long as the band's cool. Like sometimes when the headliner's like a bunch of dick bags, like you don't get a sound check or you don't get a line check, and it's like this whole ego thing, and those can suck. I don't know. I've definitely been on those, but a similar gig that kind of comes to mind is there was this big amphitheater in LaGrange, Georgia, which doesn't sound very fun, but it's actually kind of a cool town.
It's a ZZ Top song, right?
Well, there's a lot of LaGranges,
I
think, and they were opening up an amphitheater, kind of like a like your shed style deals. And we were asked to do an opening slot for a somewhat larger event band. So it was a free event at a brand new place. Like nobody else had played there before. And we played for, I think, 60 minutes, got our full rate, packed house. We were done before the sun went down.
Cool.
It was great. And,
cool.
And it's funny, our drummer at the time is currently on the road with Warren Zaders, and he had been with the band maybe a couple of months and had a couple of rough gigs, and this one was one of those where he was like, "Oh yeah, I could definitely get used to this." Right. And honestly, because they're just now getting into like headlining, that's what he's been playing. He's been playing these like really cushy opening slots for these bigger acts because they went out on the road with like Jelly Roll and a bunch of other other country singers or whatever. So a middle slot with a bigger headliner, as long as the bands that are playing are cool and production goes smoothly, like those are amazing. Some of my faves.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think this is just, if you're thinking about this, maybe think about it not just in like past tense, but like if you were to visualize, if you were to like cast your aspirations into the universe, really think about that. Or like we've said before, like write it down. Like what is your perfect gig? What would it be? How much would you get paid? What kind of green room would you have? How many people would be there? Who would be the MC? Like it's kind of fun to do these kind of thought experiments, but I can attest that doing that kind of work can help you get to those places.
Sure.
And there's definitely some aspirational gigs and or venues that like we haven't gotten to play yet that are definitely on our list. In Atlanta, it's a place called the Tabernacle. It's an amazing concert venue. It used to be an old church, and some of my favorite shows I've ever seen in my entire life have been there. And we've had a couple of close calls where like an event like we were to be hired to play in, and it either fell through or we didn't get the end result. But like that one's still like on the horizon. It's one that we're looking forward to.
Yeah, gotta have goals. Goals orient you. Goals drive you. It's really important.
So, what is your perfect gig? Whether it's already happened or you're just dreaming it in your mind's eye, let us know about it. coverbandconfidential@gmail.com. Leave a comment on the YouTube video. Maybe I'll put because now I feel like in some of the platforms like Spotify, you can like ask a question. And so we'll open that up to folks on there too.
Cool.
Just try to, I want to hear you guys dream big. I want to hear the coolest gig you've gotten to do. Some of the other stuff that you've been like, we've gotten like in my career, I've gotten to do play some cool shows. They weren't always like, they weren't perfect by a long shot, but getting to open for national acts in front of big crowds is really cool. And we've gotten to do that a couple of times. Played with Garbage and Panic at the Disco. And we played a show with Bayside, bands in that kind of genre. And it's always super rewarding and gratifying. And maybe the lead singer of Bayside tells somebody in his crew that you aren't his cup of tea, and that's okay. It's still cool,
Yep.
And everybody else in the band was super nice. So there's that.
Except for that guy.
Nah. If you are a band that plays like basically show tunes for like pirates, which is basically what Bayside is, honestly, I there's nothing that anybody could say from that group that would like hurt my feelings too much, because we were a pop punk band with a female front person opening up for a band that was like much more serious than we were. And that's fine. It wasn't the same experience as when we got to play at Warped Tour and the guys in Amberlin were like standing side stage and said we did a good job. That felt amazing. That was I prefer that feeling much more to the other one. Anyway, that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
So let us know about it. Hit us up. Put us on the socials. Do whatever. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
I did want to note. I put out like an unofficial poll after releasing last week's episode with the Face Off logo kind of deal, and I was like, this looks kind of badass. Should we switch? And you guys are split on it, because a lot of people are like, yes, that's badass. And someone else is like, yes, I agree, it is badass, but it doesn't really like match the vibe of what you guys are actually doing.
Yeah.
It's definitely more compelling. Like if you saw that and you're like, what the hell? Like, what is this? Like, I see that it could be an intriguing entry point, but
then people might be disappointed by the actual
because
content,
it's just
the delivery.
It's two goofballs talking about
right
being slagged by their favorite bands.
Right.
Anyway, well, guys, that's gonna do it for this week. Thanks again for tuning in. It was a good talk. This week's bonus episode is gonna be bananas. I'm dropping I would say a bombshell. I think it's fair to say.
Fair.
And normally the bonus episodes are only for the kind of mid and upper tier members, but I'm gonna make it open to all paid members. So if you want to get the inside scoop on what's going on, $5 a month, you get access to the Patreon Slack, and you get to hear what could be happening in October that is almost impossible to fathom.
Bonkers. Yeah.
Yeah. So do that. Don't do it. Doesn't matter. You'll find out about it eventually. One thing I did want to know, be on the lookout for this. This should have been under housekeeping, whatever. We'll be doing a review on an online request platform that should be out probably by the time this episode is dropped, maybe next week, depending on my production schedule. But there should be at least some sort of review about that kind of thing. And if you're in the market for something like that, be on the lookout. Cool. That's it for real this time.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thanks again for tuning in. Love you guys. Have a great week. And we'll see you on the next one. From Atlanta, Georgia, I'm Adam Johnson.
From Greensboro, North Carolina, I'm Dan Ray.
You have been listening to the Cover Band Confidential podcast for the week of August 1st. August?
Unbelievable.
August 1st, 2025.
The world now rocks a little more and sucks a little less. These guys have been working hard to make that happen, but we need to help them do more. Get this podcast to number 1. Here's what we need to do. You need to hit subscribe on the podcast platform, then make a 5-star review, and then you can do what I did, just listen to every episode. And don't forget to share some of these episodes. Hey, it also helps if you follow them on their social media platforms. They're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. That's all very cool. If you want the next level cool, you can be part of this exclusive community of musicians on the Slack channel that they set up for Patreon participants. You got experienced musicians in this group sharing great advice, and you can be part of that backstage hang. I wish my wife would let me spend a few bucks, because I'm jealous of people who get to do this.
It's my belief that with all our efforts, Cover Band Confidential can take over Joe Rogan's crown.